Felix here, and welcome to this pre-market live stream. Today I want to walk you through the extraordinary rally that we're seeing right now on two of our favorite stocks, Palantir and Tesla. I want to walk you through why these stocks are blowing up today and what do we do about it? Do we hold on? Where do we exit? How do we take profits? Do we buy more? That kind of important stuff. I will also give you some bonus trades directly from Goldman Sachs. I got my hands on their Sunday briefing. I'll share that with you and explain it as well. But I'll also look at some extra breakout stocks today, plus a few other super useful things to make sure you are the best informed investor out there so you can make the most money. Is that what this is really all about? I think so. So the first question is first, who made more money this year with Palantir or Tesla? So if you made more money with Palantir this year, give me a 1 in the chat. If you made more money with Tesla, give me a 2 in the chat. Let's see where people are putting their money. And while you put those numbers in the chat, I've also got some news. We have grown our financial advisory team. We've added 2 new felines to the pack. Here they are. And it's not the greatest video in the world, but they are very cute. There's 2 of them. You see that one here, and there's a little one back there. That's Tallulah, who you know. That one's about 12 weeks old. This one's a little bit older. They haven't got names yet, but they're very sweet. We picked them up on Sunday from a shelter, and they're already pretty happy. Still kind of separated off in a little room, but very cute little ones. Look at that. So yes, there we are. We will have a bigger team, and therefore we'll be able to put out better research here. Okay, let's have a look at the votes here. 1s and 2s and lots of 1s. Okay, probably slightly more 1s than 2s, I would say, right? What about me, actually? What about our teaching portfolio? Let me pull that up here. Where do we make more money? I think we haven't. There isn't a Palantir trade in here right now. No, we're just making a bucket load of money with Tesla right now. Like up 142%. SoFi is actually doing double that, but that's another story for another day. So let me explain to you why these stocks are going up. Walk through what do we do about that? How do we make the most money after you smash the like button? Now, is it all about a tweet? It could be. Are they still called tweets or they're called X's now or something? Elon tweeted this, Tesla shorts reciting a litany against fear right now. That was this morning. And maybe, is that it? Is that all there is to it? Is that the fundamental story? No, it's not. There is a little bit more to it than that. There's a lot more to it than that. And I also reposted this on Twitter, if you follow me over there. There were one really key announcement. And this is from a Deutsche Bank investor conference where Tesla's head of investor relations, he's called Travels Axelrod. It's great he's called Axelrod, isn't it? Do you like that show? Billions, Axelrod? Anyway, so Axe was there, and they said they're going to release and introduce an entry-level Model Q in early 2025. When's early 2025? In like 3 weeks. And this is going to cost less than $30,000. And if you are wondering what this is all about, there's been all this talk about, is Elon going to put out the sub $25,000 car? Now, that was probably including subsidies, so below $30,000 is pretty good. So it'll be the cheapest Tesla yet. And lengths and so on, we don't really care. But it'll have a range of 500 kilometers. You can get a single dual motor. And the move is part of their strategy to boost sales by 20 to 30% in 2025. So a lot of growth coming there. And I'll tell you why this matters. And I also tweeted this on X today. But you get rid of the subsidies, right? Which is happening. So no more subsidies. And then what do you also add? Well, you add some tariffs, which means your German cars, your French cars, your Chinese cars, whatever, are not going to be able to enter the US at the same cost basis. They're made in Mexico or somewhere, they're going to have to pay tariffs. And what does that mean? Well, there is only one car company that's able to build a $30,000 or less car, EV, and make money on it. And that is Tesla. There is literally nobody else out there who's able to do this. So Elon's little investment into Donald J. Trump is going to pay off so incredibly handsomely for Tesla shareholders because no one else can do it. Like literally nobody else can do it. The Chinese probably could. Yes, they can actually, but they're going to have to pay tariffs. So they're out of the picture. So Ford and GM and Rivian and all these guys, they will just be like, what do we do with this? This guy's putting a car out at less than $30,000. That's bloody amazing. And we can't do it. So what does this mean? It just means tremendous growth for Tesla. And the stock price is reflecting that right now. It is trading at $397. We were above 400 a little while ago. And I suspect we're going to go back there. All the analysts are starting to talk about $500. Media is talking about $500. And the market, if you haven't realized it yet, is an emotional beast of momentum. And that's what we trade, right? We trade momentum. That's how we make money. We look for these big, beautiful breakouts like down here, and then we just get in on it, and then we make a lot of money with it. It's a relatively simple way of doing it, but it's what it's ultimately about. So when everybody expects it to go up, guess what usually happens? It goes up. And the news coming out of Tesla is just crazily good. I mean, really, it's like the stars aligned for Tesla. And I'm not even talking about the robo-cabs, right? The robo-taxis, that's the other story. People are talking about 10 million robo-taxis by 2030 on the road. And if you think that through in terms of revenue and recurring revenue, and again, it just takes you to a whole nother level in terms of valuation. And we're not even talking about robots or energy business or any of that. So Tesla is having the time of its life. And I think it's just getting started. So I think we're going to be looking at some very, very, very silly profits here for our Tesla trades. 300, 400, 500%. It's all entirely possible. So, what do we do therefore with this position? Well, okay, if you are in a trade where you make a lot of money, the one thing you want to make sure that doesn't happen to you is that you then hold it until it crashes and comes down, because that's entirely possible. I mean, it's not my base case, but it's entirely possible. You know, Tesla went up to 412 and then went down to $108. Actually, $100. So you could have lost $300. So what's the important part here? You gotta have a stop loss on this. No matter how much you love it, no matter how long you want to be in on it for, I would say you need to have a stop loss. Where do you set it? We have some rules for that. Simplest thing would be draw a trend line, pick one of the moving averages, whichever one suits you. They're all fairly far away now from where we're trading right now, and just set it. And it means that when it does go down, you don't become a bag holder. Instead, you get the cash back. You look for another opportunity that in that moment, and maybe for those 6 months, will make you more money. Because if you don't do that, the real problem with bag holding isn't that the stock went down and then went back up. But if you had bought here at 400, it wasn't the problem that you went down to 100, assuming you didn't sell, right? Because you held on. I mean, the problem is a lot of people sold down here, and that's a real problem. Now you destroyed three quarters of your money. But say you held all the way back up here. Well, the real rally kicked off here again. So you had, 2022, you had 2 years of no returns. 2 years of no returns. You know what the problem is with that? If you bought the S&P, you'd be up like 50%. So you are 50% poorer than an index fund investor. That's not where you want to be. And if you've gotten into the right stocks during that period, you could have made a lot more money potentially by riding those rallies. And that's what I aim to do, is get out of stuff that's falling at the right moment. And then we take that money and we reinvest into stuff that's actually very likely to make us money. And that's super, super, super important to realize. And I'll tell you in a second how you can learn the exact strategy that I use, and that's literally changed my life. Actually, here it is. So if you want to learn how I do that and learn that for free, because you deserve to learn that for free, and you don't want to go into 2025 with the same rule book and just hope and pray and wish for a different outcome, because it's not going to happen. I think it'll be a great market, so most people are going to make money, but some people will make 20%, some people will make 200% or 500% or whatever, right? And I'm not talking about crazy crypto stuff here. I'm talking about mainstream big tech companies. And what do you have to do for it? You have to go to felixprehn.org/get free. You have to watch a 30-minute masterclass, which is free. You have to take some notes, and you have to actually think about it. You have to look at some charts afterwards, and you have to implement it. And if you implement it, I promise you, it'll change your life for the better. So take a note of this, or run off right now and go there. This is actually more important than what's happening to Palantir right now. For you personally, this is more important. So I won't be cross with you if you run off somewhere. And Meg says, I learned this with Baba. Yeah, exactly. And then you can learn this with many stocks. You can learn this with PayPal, with Tesla, with a lot of great companies. They just can collapse 75%. It's kind of to be expected. So you need to have a system to make sure that that doesn't happen, because why do you want to give up 75% of your money? Right? It makes absolutely no sense. Marion, you can't get into Trade Vision. That's weird. Are we offline? I'm good. Hit the refresh button, Marion, or otherwise maybe clear your cookies or something, or try a different browser. If that doesn't work, then obviously let us know in the support. Okay, so let's move on to story number 2, Palantir. And they actually tie together, which is very, very unique here today, and why this is flying up. So is it this story here that I posted earlier today on X? U.S. Special Operations Command expands their contract. It's worth $36 million here, which isn't, a huge amount of money. So is that it? Is that why the stock's flying? Well, yeah, it's a little bit of that. It's just there've been so many deals and contracts, which is a good thing. And every time the U.S. Special Operations guys start using Palantir, you know the Army and the Navy and everybody else is going to follow suit 6 months later or something, right? Trade Vision support doesn't reply to messages, my friend. I am very sorry to hear that. We do reply, or we aim to reply to every single message. But if we didn't reply to yours, TP, send me an email. You can send me an email personally, and I'll put it in the chat here for you. It's felix@goatacademy.org, and we will do our utmost to fix that, because that's the point. I want to make sure you guys actually get value out of it. But yeah, let me know what your bug is there, and we'll scratch it. This is actually one of the reasons the stock's up massively today. And it is funny how one word by the richest man in the world makes a stock go up. So this is a video of Alex Karp talking about, making America great again type stuff from a software point of view. And Elon Musk writes based. And the speculation is then immediately, is Tesla using Palantir and so on. So let me explain the connection here. So you have Tesla. You have a little company called Panasonic, who used to make CD players. Now they make batteries, one of the largest battery manufacturers in the world. And they have a plant next to the Tesla factory. And Panasonic is a self-admitted Palantir customer. So that very, very battery plant uses Palantir Foundry. And my assumption has always been that Tesla uses Palantir, and they don't want to admit it because when they started using it, there was all the stuff about ICE deportations and the CIA dodgy background and that kind of stuff. Not everybody is a fan of that, especially back then. Elon was more of a sort of liberal Californian kind of a guy, and Palantir was kind of seen as the persona non grata. So now that's shifting. Do you think Tesla and Elon are going to come out and go, yeah, we were using Palantir? Why would they do that? What would be the advantage in it for them? There isn't really any advantage. But no, what this is really about, and this is about something much, much bigger, and that is, yes, there is a connection to Elon the Almighty, but Elon is now Doge, right? Department of, what does it actually stand for? Does anybody know? Department of what? Government expenditure, something like that, right? Department of Government Expenditure. Basically, he wants to cut $2 trillion from the government budget, which is a third of all the US money that's spent wisely by, loving government officials. And how do you do that? Well, the only way to actually run those departments with a lot less people and a lot less buildings and a lot less waste and overhead would be, in my humble opinion, to get Palantir to not just run Doge, but pretty much every government department out there. And they already got their fingers in a lot of them. Thank you very much, guys. Department of Government Efficiency. Okay. So that's really what this is about. And I've been singing this off the rooftop now for weeks, that I believe Palantir is going to get a massive, massive boost of government contracts there. And they're not all going to tumble in on January 7th or whenever Trump gets in. It's going to take a little bit of time. But the way Palantir works is they don't wait for the contracts to be signed. And that's probably the only company in the world. It's just like, yeah, we're going to send you our engineers, we're going to set you up, we're going to do everything, and then figure out how you award us a contract later. And that's what they did in Ukraine. That's what they've done in a lot of places where, you know, it was required, like now Israel and so on. And that's also why they're going to get these contracts, because by the time the contract tender comes out, Palantir is set up. And they'll have their tentacles everywhere in government, and they will run the US government, which is tremendous recurring revenue for Palantir. There is another little tidbit to this, and that's institutions are loading up the boat and have been loading up the boat here. Do you see that increase there? That is a massive increase. This chart is in green, is institutional. Whoops, institutional. It bounced a little, didn't it? Institutional ownership, or shareholdership ownership of Palantir. And as you can see here, we had that, whoa, big rally. We haven't seen that kind of a bounce since ever, actually. So what does that mean? It means big fund money is flowing into Palantir. They're accepting this as this is a company that's going to stick around. The S&P inclusion helped. The move to the Nasdaq's helping. And just every single day, good news, I think, is helping. Now, what about the stock price, though? Isn't it insanely expensive and massively overwhelmed, expensive? Stale says SpaceX is using Palantir. I mean, really, I didn't know that was confirmed, but it would make a lot of sense. Well, Palantir right now is trading at $80.86 here pre-market, ever so slightly above the resistance at $80. And that's tremendous, and that's a huge gap up again here for Palantir. The last one was on the 5th of November when the orange one was chosen. And the one before that was here in September. And these were all buy opportunities, by the way. These were like classic breakouts, which again, you can learn if you watch the masterclass in the link down below. So PE multiples and all of that, yeah, they're out of this world. And it is entirely possible, like with any stock, that it's going to go up and it's going to come down. And then it's going to do this and it's going to go back up eventually. So again, you want to set yourself a stop loss. And you could set it at the support line here at $66, always slightly below. Don't ever be at a round number. That's a daft idea because you always break through the round number slightly. So 55 and 50 cents or something. Or you could set it a bit tighter. You could set it here at the trend line I've got in there. I'm not telling you where to put it, but I'm telling you to put one because it'll protect you. And it just means that your profit-making trade will remain profitable rather than come crashing down. And it might be that, in January, Donald J. Trump decides that Microsoft is the only company in the world that can run the US government. That would be pretty moronic or very successful lobbying by somebody from Microsoft. But, weird stuff can happen. So I don't invest in stocks because I love and breathe the company or, I think the CEO has got great hair. I invest in companies because I want to make money. Purely selfish, actually. I want to make money for myself and my family. That's all I care about. And I do not care what company I do it with. The money does not care where it comes from. It's just a number in your bank account or in your portfolio. So be agnostic to stocks. Run the rallies up when they come, exit them when they don't, and put your money into something else that's running up. That's how the most successful investors and traders out there make money, not because they fall in love with the company. The hair helps here. The hair is rather tremendous. Is January a bullish month? In my opinion, yes. I think we have certainly the first 2 weeks should be quite bullish. Might be a little bit of choppiness when the tariffs get announced. That's something. So where we pre-market? Pre-market, we're looking pretty glorious. And then I want to give you a little bit of bonus information as I promised. And Tesla is in the green. Oracle's looking good. Palantir is up 6% here. Look how big a box that is now. That's now a company that's bigger than Intuit. We're getting to kind of Netflix territory next. Oracle, good earnings. That's up 2% here, which is good. We called that nicely. And yeah, tech companies down a little bit. Nvidia's down 2%. China has apparently launched some sort of antitrust investigation into Nvidia abusing its monopoly. Yeah, okay. Probably not going to be their biggest growth market going forward anyway. Now, what's the bonus? Goldman Sachs' top trades. Who wants to hear them? Do you want to know Goldman Sachs' top trades? If you do, put a 1 in the chat, or yeah, put a 1 in the chat if you want to hear it. And if you don't, well, don't. George says 1, Cosy says 1. Arthur says 1. Okay, I'm seeing the ones coming through. Okay, you want to hear it. All right, I'll show you then. Okay, software is their first by sector. California Conman, I like your 4 ones, although your name sounds a little dodgy, I must say. Now, why software? Okay, I'm loving all the ones. The kittens as well, Terry. I spotted you there. Thanks for tuning in. Have you seen our kittens? We've got new kittens. Look at that here. Here they are. We've got new kittens. That's the new kitten. And that's the second new kitten. Now, we wanted to adopt that little kitten because she's very, very cute. But she was in a cage with that kitten. And she doesn't know anybody else. It seems a little cruel to separate her. So we now have 2 extra kittens. You can never have too many of them, really. Very useful. Very useful. So tremendous financial research, those guys. The amount of hours they put in is amazing. All that sleeping they do. All right, so why software? Okay, so money, how did we start off this year? At the beginning of the year, so in January, roughly, of 24, and now we are in sort of December 24. The year's gone quick, hasn't it? And all the money went into, where did all the money go? All the money went into chips, remember? Nvidia and so on. And then I think I told you in March of that year, of this year, I think in March I was saying, guys, the next trade is what? Software. Because how does the money move? The chips power what? Cloud computing, right? What is the cloud computing systems for? Well, they're there to power software, precisely. So that's how the money moves. So the money followed into cloud because they knew there was money to be made there. But then the real margins are actually made in software. So now the money is moved over here. And by I mean money, I mean, the hedge fund money, institutional money, and it's pouring into software. So companies like CRM, like OKTA, actually got a video coming out on that later today, I think. Today? I think so. I've had very, very good numbers, very, very promising numbers. And I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And the mainstream market hasn't really followed into software yet. So, to do a bit of a trawl through the software stocks that and have a look at the charts after you watch the masterclass, because then you might be able to find some breakouts in that to look at that. What are the kitties' names? You know what? They haven't got names yet. I'm very open to suggestions. They are... There we go. There's a little one there. So this is one of them. She's a tricolor little one. She looks very similar, I must say, to the cat that we lost about 2 or 3 months ago, which is, of course, sentimentally why we picked her. I saw a photo and I was like, that's just a spitting image of her. Look at that. She's really sweet and small. And then this is sort of her big brother. But no names yet. So yeah, open to it. I'm not going to call them Palantir if that's what you're thinking. But certain people do name their cats after stocks. It's not really my cup of tea. The second sector that Goldman Sachs is throwing out there as a jump on board, literally, is airlines. Now, I hate investing in airlines, but doesn't mean you can't make money out of them trading. Because, okay, what's the problem with airlines? Anybody know what the problem is with an airline? So if this is your, what did Microsoft do there? If this is your airline, okay, this is looks more like a rocket, doesn't it? But this is your airline. Then, you've got all these little seats in here, don't you? You've got all these little seats in here, lots of them. And what happens? Say you sell that seat, you collected $1,000. How do you know you're going to make money on that flight? Well, you don't. You only make money on that flight if you sell all of these other seats and you get a few people in business to also come in, and then you get some cargo as well. At that point, you start to make some money, but you've got absolutely bugger all idea when you sell the first ticket whether you'll make money. And that's a horrible place to be. Now, what if this plane is now full? Do you put on a second plane and you sell just one extra ticket? Yeah, that's literally the risk that airlines take. So it's a crazy business to be in the long run. Don't touch it. But as a trader, you always can, and you can run these sort of like trends. So they're basically saying United Airlines, American Airlines, JetBlue, what's Love? LOV? I actually don't know. But that's what they're looking at, Goldman Sachs. So honestly, from a longer term point of view, I would be happier to put my money into software. From a shorter term point of view, like obviously everything goes. What did Felix draw? I know. Artiste at work. What does that look like? But in all honesty, picking stocks, irrespective of what the sector is, and picking winning stocks, picking winning breakouts is what helped me turn my performance from following the market and getting like 10% or 12% or something to now, extraordinarily. We're like 100% up just in the last month or two. And that's the second time this year that we've done it. So how do we do that? I do that by picking stocks that look like winners. And how do we know they look like winners? Well, there are 4 rules to it. I'm not going to run you through them because you can literally just go to felixfriends.org/get-free and watch it in your own time. Preferably today, because if you don't watch it today, you'll never watch it. That's how it works, isn't it? And take some notes, take some screenshots, and then actually look at some charts afterwards, actually apply it. And if you do that, it will change your life and how you invest and how you look after your money. Paige here says, thanks for the masterclass, by the way, helped me loads. Okay, love that. Thank you very much. And that's exactly the intention here, is to give you tremendous value as always here. Look at that. I love these comments because you put stuff out there, and I put it out there to help people, and then they come back and they say, hey, this is helping me, which I'm very lucky to get every single day. That's what motivates me here. Okay, here is one more bonus that if you ask 999 investors, 998 of them will not know what the heck this is about, but you will. CTAs, what are CTAs? They are algo funds. Now, what are algo funds? Algo funds are things driven by computers. They run on certain rules, and they just buy and sell stuff according to their rules. And they are either invested not at all, so they are 0% invested, or they are 100% invested, which is up here. And where are they right now? They're at 52%. Actually, they're a little bit higher than that, yeah. Current percentile, 52%. So what does that mean? We can go a lot higher. That's what it means. So the party keeps going. These guys, they're trend followers. They follow they're always late to the party, basically. They're always the guy who shows up just a little bit too late, and they hope that the dancing continues and that there is still free flow champagne. And therefore, a lot of money could potentially pour into the market and drive this rally a heck of a lot further. Cool. And I'm glad you guys are getting some value there. Weiss, if I pronounce that correctly. Love that, my friend. I'm very, very glad that it's helping and that's inspiring you to learn more and so on, which is really what this is all about. So listen to our friend Weiss, whatever that. And Guinea Pig says, great is that your lessons allow us to make money when we're not working. Learning hit a nail with a hammer means we can only make money when we're banging the nails. Yeah, very true. Exactly. And that's the beautiful thing with investing, isn't it? I wake up every morning richer than the previous day. Well, not every morning, but in the long run, I certainly do. So it's Trade Vision and Algo fund. No fund there whatsoever. But yeah, let's have a look at some stock charts here. And just speaking of Trade Vision, a lot of you guys were saying, oh, can you please keep up the Black Friday offer? So we have. Okay, so it's still there, at least for this week. And why? Because the whole point is to reach as many people as possible and give you good quality information and data and the best indicators out there in a way you can actually understand. And therefore, it's still 60% off. It won't be that forever, so do jump on it. And there's also a week's trial, so it's actually a risk-free endeavor. So do check that out. Now, if I can find my brokerage window, where did they go? Here we go. Pre-market, we're looking beautiful in Tesla land. We're looking beautiful for Palantir. Oracle looking very good, which is important, more important than you might think. Nvidia, Chinese monopoly investigation, hence it's down 2%. Everything else is sort of flat or up, which is pretty good if you ask me. And we said Oracle was a buy, what, yesterday, I think, right? Yeah, so that's quite nice. That's flying. Here's another one. Twilio, for example, I saw, and I actually missed that one. I should have gotten a notification here. I'm sure I did in September 20th here. And this is one of those classic, like, if you watch the masterclass, you'll see what I'm talking about. This looks to me like a classic breakout here. And then where did it go? It go from $65 to $113 just by knowing what the breakout looks like. These are the opportunities you can spot. We send them to you twice a day, but you still obviously need to understand your own rules and why it's happening and understand your risk management and so on. So check out Trade Vision there for those alerts that you get every single day. And then you can also track your profits in that here. And when the market opens, Tesla is gonna rip some more here, up 142% so far now. It's crazy, isn't it? Really, really crazy. Actually, no, the data is already live. $23,000 up on that trade. This is a 30K portfolio, right? We are now up $33,000 since the last time we made $30,000. So I think we're now up $63,000 this year on a 30K portfolio. Pretty extraordinary stuff, isn't it? So check that out if you want to track in there. We, yeah, lots of good stuff happening in there. So have you ever look at some of our popular stocks out there? Guinea Pig says, got Trade Vision a year up front. Really like it. It helps me make things a little easier. Gives confidence to entering and exiting trades. I appreciate that. Very, very happy that's working for you. We're actually hiring more developers today. We have just so much stuff I want to build. There's so many things that are going to be so cool and so useful that I want to build out. So we're growing the team with more devs, which is where your subscription money flows. It flows to the developers because we want to make this the best and the most user-friendly tool out there for anybody trading or investing, whether it's stocks or options. And SoFi is down a little bit. Nothing dramatic, but down just a touch at 1533. The support and resistance here is flipped upside down, by the way. That is not a bug. That is actually a feature. That is how the market is positioned right now. It's upside down. It's a bit weird. I suspect it'll change during this week, but that's literally how market makers are positioned right now. Does Trade Vision give breakout signals? Yeah, we send you an email twice a day with the with what we see as buys and also exits. And you obviously still have to, it's an indicator, right? You have to come to your own conclusion. You know, don't blindly buy everything or sell everything, but I use it. I find it very, very useful. So do check it out. Now, SoFi here, weird day on Friday. We dropped really, 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 really low. And then we rallied up a lot, which is actually a very, very bullish candle here. And it's just it's a continuation of the rally since mid-October, which we called here. Buy and hold, by the way, in the last 2 years would have made you how much money on SoFi? 2%, right? Just being into the right zones when we called it a buy would have made you 78%. And why is that? Because we would not have had our money in it pretty much the whole time that in the last 2 years, because it just didn't really go anywhere. And that's why people often say to me, oh, but you're talking about SoFi, but you're not in it. I'm like, no, I really like the business, but I'm waiting for the right point to put my money into it. And then we put our money into it, and then, you know, we're up, how much are we up by? If it loads, when it loads. There we go, 254%. Right. So it's not about being in stuff early. It's being in stuff at the right time. That's really what it's all about. So is it still a bullish? Yes, I think the setup's still there. I don't think anything's really changed. If we get a little bit of a dip, it might be an opportunity to add some more. I'm very, very bullish on SoFi. Soundhound, some of you guys are shouting out. I actually included that in my Saturday video this week because the cool thing I can now see in Trade Vision, I can now see the popular stocks you guys are searching for. So that's very, very useful. If I click here on Visualizer, I can see what you're looking at. Not individually, or it's a bit slow today, isn't it? What's going on? somebody pushing an update while I'm live. I have to whip some more developers. Yeah, you see here popular. You can see like in the order people are searching for stuff. So SoundHound was the fifth largest one, fifth most popular one. So I included that, and I'll probably keep following that list every week to make it most useful for you. But yeah, SoundHound absolutely blowing it out of the water. The where was the breakout? Where was the beginning of that breakout? It's here, wasn't it? Yeah, that was it. That line is here at $6. That was the entry point at $6. Right now we're at 15. So very, very sweet. Now, would I be buying it right here? I think it's a little late. I think it's a little late to the party. Doesn't mean it's not going to go up much higher. Volume is tremendous. So the day before might have been a good time to buy. Friday, still a lot of volume. So yeah, it's probably still okay actually. But it's, obviously becomes more and more speculative the further you are away from the initial breakout. Tesla's above 400. That's exactly what I was expecting. And we're going to get Tesla to 500. That's what I'm seeing. And I think that's going to happen pretty soon. They put that Model Q out. And they've told investment bankers about it, which means they're actually going to do it because it's their investor relations team who said it, not Elon and sort of a hopeful kind of momentum. Then that's going to be tremendous. If they can grow car sales 20-30%, and we get closer to the robo-taxis coming out, it's going to be mind-blowing year for Tesla. $403 right now, which means we are making money. AVGO today, I think that looks pretty good, right? AVGO, Broadcom. What do you do if a stock breaks out pre-market? If the volume is that big that I can see it, then I actually probably buy it. Like a lot of the time, big announcement before the market happens, I might then jump in on it. But what you'll also notice is that pretty much every single breakout that happens, you get a second chance. Okay, say this was a breakout here, right? This was a breakout. Look at the volume down there. You gap up, right? So you could have either bought here or could have let it ride up, back down, and then it went back up here, volume spikes again, so you could have gotten in again here. So you always get chance number one and chance number two. Pretty much every single time when there is a breakout, there is a second chance. And the market is just generous and kind, and that's why they do it. Now this here is looking, well, just look at the highs here, approximately. So we're still a little bit below those, below that trend, despite, pretty promising morning. That's the 50-day, the 150s down there. So yeah, it looks, what about the RSI? It looks promising. It looks promising. I don't know. I would be a little cautious still. I'd like to take out these kind of highs here, the sort of 185. There's also resistance at 180 here. You see that? And we're just slightly below it. So not my favorite entry point. But obviously you have to come to your own conclusion. IWM. I do have IWM, and I'm kind of sitting there going, do something, somebody do something, because it's boring to be an IWM at the moment, but it should go up. Whether it will or not is of course a different story. What's happening to my charts here? There we go. 240, okay, a little bit bullish. Now this is what I call a dragon pattern. All you got to do is draw an eye here, mouth, some teeth, an ear, and then this is of course the tail. Here, this is the tail, right? It's a dragon pattern, very, very famous, and it says that you've lost the plot. No, that's nonsense. So yeah, it's getting a bit exhausted here at the same levels that we had here. So this is clearly the resistance around that 240 something mark. So it's not screaming, buy me, please. But I've got some, and I'm holding on to some that I think I bought after this breakout here. This one here. So I think I bought it here. So we're up moderately, but not really making any particular money on it. It's a cat pattern. It could even be a cat pattern. Yes, a cat chasing its own tail. PayPal is up today. Yep, PayPal is starting to come to life, which is glorious and gloriouser. And our PayPal trade is now up 60%. It was 40% last week. So, catching up. I distinctly expect that to go into the double digits. And I'm using options here, which is why the returns are perhaps a little better than what you might see. But we had a gap up here on Friday on non-existent volume, which is kind of why I ignored it. But we are moving quite nicely along. And let me see what that's sort of the trend. So we're flirting with breaking out of the trend and accelerating the rally. And I think it should. If we get that rate cut from Jerome the Powell, then I think it's going to fly some more. Do you own SoFi right now? I have options on SoFi right now, which is what I was showing you just here in our trades tracker in TradeVision. Here we're up 253% on that. So sometimes if the options are cheap, I really like to buy them rather than the stock. Sometimes I buy both, but it depends on the setup. You don't need to learn options. You can make a ton of money with stocks first. And then if you really enjoy that and you have a little bit more time because now then you've retired from your stock portfolio, then maybe you can come and learn options trading as well. How many stocks is too many, Jets? When you lose control and you no longer know what it's all about, then it's too many. And that depends on you. For some people, that's 5. For some people, that's 30. I can't really see the reason why you want to own more than 30, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess that's why I lose control of it. But as long as you are disciplined with your stops, you could, in theory, run much larger portfolios. You just need to be very disciplined and have a proper sort of checklist. I'm seeing a few, made 2 commas with stocks. Brilliant, Alex. Well done. And people asking about Zoom here. Who's asking about Zoom? Larry. Larry is asking about Zoom. I can't say I've looked at the chart in a while. Oh, okay. So classic breakout here, 22nd of August after earnings, right? And then what did I say? There is a first opportunity to buy, and then there is always a second one. That was the second one here. And next time volume spikes was here. And that was, it ran up, and then, you get your second opportunity again after the spike, as is usual. Right now, we're at the very top of basically the highs we've had here. So this does look very bullish. It does look very bullish. And Larry, you're very kind. Ken, thanks for your support of animals. I appreciate that. Well, they actually give us so much. I mean, look at these 3 little goons. Look at these guys. These are the new ones here. We're going to have a lot of fun with them. Winston's also met them. He's very excited. He's like running around going, oh my God, they're kittens in the house. He loves everything small. So what things are you looking for from a dev, says Maxi. Okay, we're looking for people who are full stack JavaScript guys or girls and understand stock trading or some sort of trading a bit, because we need you to work on charts and data related to it. That's basically what we're looking for. And most of our team is UK or Europe based. Not necessary, but just in terms of time zone, it might help a little bit. But yeah, that's basically it. Just people who actually understand a little bit about trading and investing, because otherwise it's a challenge for us to have to explain every single thing. And we're building out a lot more like fundamental stock data features. We're building out a lot more indicators and news and alerts and stuff like that. So it makes sense if you understand like what a stop loss is, for example, then otherwise you have to explain it. So yeah, we're probably hiring maybe 2 people right now, and then probably some more once they're set up. And I guess the other important thing is we kind of need you to work quite independently, because we're a startup. We haven't got management layers to wipe up after you. So we need people we can say, here's a project, discrete, go and deliver it by 10 days out, and then you actually do that, and then obviously raise your hand if you need help. But we need people who are quite independent, just because we don't have the management capacity or interest. Alex, appreciate you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate that. And I want to make Felix money, says Josh. Well, look, if I can inspire you to want that, then you can actually get it. The first place I'd start would literally watch the masterclass, my friend. That'll open up a whole new world for you in terms of knowledge and skills and understanding of how traders actually operate. And most people don't tell you this because actually most people don't understand this. And the ones who do tend not to want to share it because they usually run some sort of fund or something, and they want to sell you the fund. So that's why it's sort of weird that this information has really been out there in some form or another for 40 or 50 years, but it just seems that nobody's teaching it unless you actually go and get a job in a bank, in which case they have an interest to teach you, which is why I put it out there. It takes no more than 1 to 2 developers, my friend. I think the complexities of options trading and integrating brokers and a lot of data and is a little bit more complex than we'd initially anticipated. Especially with options, you have live data. Every second you have millions of data points that change, right? And they're going to get reflected. So there's a lot of stuff going on there and on the back end. But what I'm looking for right now primarily is people who work on the stock stuff. Do I hate AMD? No, I don't hate AMD, but I think it's a falling knife, isn't it? Isn't it still a falling knife? So I'm a fan of buying things that are going up. And do I get it right all the time? No, I don't. But if I don't get it right, I lose a few percent. If I get it right, I could make 100% plus. So that's really what it's all about. So you want to pick stuff that has a good setup rather than this is a falling knife. You're below all the moving averages. That's kind of all you need to know. So I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. Pump on, and I appreciate that. Look, we're a pretty small team, but there's a lot to it. Like the option side particularly is something that just takes a very, very specific skill set. But yeah, what I'm talking about here is more like charting and annotation tools, and this is a little bit more simple to build out, but it still needs to link back to live data. So if you're interested in that job, send me an email to, I'll put my email in the chat here again, felix@goatacademy.org. Tell me what you've worked on in sort of fintech. That's really what I'd be most interested in. And then I'll let you know. Do you have a short stocks? I do, yes, but only if the market's going down. And you don't go against the market trend. And at the moment, the market is flying, so I don't short anything. A lot of computing power required to keep up the options. Yeah, that's also true. But that's a more minor thing because then you just pay the cloud providers for that. But it's more about getting the data right. That's obviously important for what we do here. So, okay, guys, yeah, if you're interested in that, just ping me a message. Is your shelter a non-profit? You mean the cat shelters? Yeah. They're all charities. I sent them some money today. But yeah, there are kittens coming out of their ears here. So these are the guys we adopted today. Yeah, that little one down there. That's the one actually I wanted to adopt. And they said, oh, she's been sharing a cage for the last 8 weeks with one other cat and they sleep together. And do you want that one too? And I'm like, yeah, okay. And that's this one here, who's very sweet. He's a boy. I never had a boy cat before. And this is Tallulah up there, chief financial advisor, an analyst around here, meeting the little ones going, what are you doing? Who are you? But she seems quite excited, actually, to play with them. Look at that. Climbing. So there we are. Kittens and some financial news and so on here. If you enjoyed the video, share it with a friend. Seriously, it'll help more people get to where we want to get to. Feel free to post the masterclass link also anywhere you want. Share it with people. The more people we help and reach, the more people we'll help. And test out Trade Vision. If you haven't already, links down below, felixfrenzelog.com/Trade Vision, and see how the alerts work for you and the support and resistance lines work for you and all the stuff we're building out there. You can track your profits from your portfolios. And me and the kittens say thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you live tomorrow.